Hi and welcome to my random ruminations, day 2 in the migraine house. But we're not talking about migraine today. Today we're talking about one of the greatest wankers America has ever produced, as of, I think, about 36 hours ago. John Grisham, you are a grade A prick, you know that? Seriously. I'm not even going to get into the fact that your mate did what he did, and frankly did not serve enough time. He should have served a lot longer than that. And he should have been thrown into a nice prison where they would teach him why child abusers really don't want to go to prison. No, I'm not going to go into that. Well, instead what I'm going to go into is why you were so wrong and what makes you such a prick. Also why I am never ever ever reading one of your books again. I am never ever ever seeing one of your movies. And frankly, I hope your career goes down the fucking toilet. So let's start with number 1. By looking at those images, anyone who looks at those images and does not report them to the police, what you've done is create an appetite for that material. And you may never ever go back to it again. It doesn't matter. You have added clicks to the click counter. You have added views to the image, to the video, whatever. And by doing that, you are inspiring and encouraging the child pornographer to create more. By creating that appetite for that material, you are guaranteeing that more children are going to live through hell. There is no argument that, some children want... No, they don't. No child understands what they're getting into. They may be blackmailed into it. They may be bribed into it. They may be forced into it. And most of them will point blank be raped. And by which I mean extremely violently raped for child porn. A few, the abusers will have spent years grooming them into a position of vulnerability and emotional frailty to take advantage of them. You are, the people who look at child porn and the people who apologize for them, for those people, by doing what you're doing at all, you are guaranteeing another child will live through horror. You're guaranteeing it. You are creating the appetite for it, and you are making it easier for these people to get away with it, and you are making it easier yeah. And movement number 2. Gender is utterly irrelevant. It does not matter whether the child victim is a boy, a girl, or someone who has no gender. It's irrelevant. They're a child. Let's just start with the legality stuff. They can't consent. They cannot consent. Ergo, they are raped. There is no debate about this. There is no negotiation on this. If a child has sex with an adult, the adult does not have consent from the child, no matter what. And yes, I'm including Romeo and Juliet laws in this. I agree Romeo and Juliet laws are incredibly sexist. But you know what? They shouldn't exist. If you're 17 and they're 16, keep it in your pants for a year. 1 fucking year. You can do that. If you can't do it, walk away for a year. If you're actually meant to be together, it'll actually last a year. No, but that aside, gender is utterly irrelevant to this situation. Utterly irrelevant. The point of the matter is, children are children. They are unformed clay. Emotionally, mentally, physically. They have not learned a fraction of what the world has to hold. Either the monsters or the nice parts of reality. And what you're doing is you are taking them and you are raping them. At best, you're raping them. At worst, you're raping and torturing them Believe me, it happens. I know from personal experience. The gender is utterly irrelevant. I have seen child porn apologists say, "Oh, but with a girl, it's different because she has a vagina that's designed to take a penis." No 7-year-old girl has a vagina designed to take a penis. Period. We won't even get into my opinion on child brides, but it doesn't matter whether they're male or female. You're going to cause physical damage. The gender is utterly irrelevant, and we need to take gender completely out of this debate. A child is a child. That's it. Where it comes to child pornography, where it comes to child abuse, where it comes to child rape, where it comes to child marriage, a child is a child. A child is neither a male nor a female. It's irrelevant. Their body is going to be damaged. And John Grisham, it doesn't make it better if the child pornographer looks at a girl rather than a boy, because, you know, that would be so much more damaging and gay. No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. A child is a child. Now, I'm kind of going all over the fucking shop with this one today, aren't I? Okay, let's move on to number 3. In order to make child pornography, a child is harmed. And I'm actually going to go further than that. Flashcard, back a bit. Yeah, get rid of the harmed. Yeah, replace with murdered. Sweet. A child is murdered. Let's take the physicality of a murder out of the word murder. Murder means that a distinct person ceases to exist. Yes, murder means that biological function ends and yada yada yada. But if you take that and put that lump of all the physical stuff and put it to one side, you're left with one thing. A distinct human being ceases to exist. I am telling you this as a child abuse survivor. I am telling you this as someone who pulls her hair out in her sleep, literally handfuls of hair, who claws her face in her sleep, who sleeps with a pillow over her head, and as much bed clothing between her and the world as she possibly can, even in the middle of summer. I say this as someone who is terrified of men, who is borderline agoraphobic, who can barely ring her male friends on the phone. Child abuse is murder. Who I was before I was abused no longer exists. They exist as a dream. They don't even exist as a memory anymore. And who I should have been before I was abused, they were murdered. They never had a chance to come into being. If you look at child pornography, you are adding to an industry that murders children. I'm not using the euphemism murders childhood. I mean murders children. Leaving aside the fact that I am quite certain that there is a large amount of child pornography, child snuff pornography out there, I'm quite certain of it. Leaving that aside, just the kids that are raped and then thrown to the wayside, or raped over and over and over, or raped and beaten, or raped and tortured, or raped and... I could go on all fucking day with this. Leaving aside the ones that are victims of snuff pornography, a child goes into that situation and they go in, and in all likelihood they're relatively happy. They may have come from a troubled home or a troubled situation in some form or way. They may be bullied, but there is the potential for them to become there's still a good potential for them to become who their upbringing, their background, their education and the whole lot inclines them to become. And they go into that situation and someone touches them and there's confusion first, and then someone puts fingers inside them and confusion turns to discomfort, and then someone puts a penis inside them and the discomfort turns to pain, and then their mind collapses in on itself to protect itself. It implodes. They stop being that person. The child is gone forever. You've just murdered that child. They become an adult in seconds. They go from being a child to an adult without any of the necessary growth in between. I'm sorry, 1 second. They go from being a child to an adult without any of the time in between where you grow into being an adult. That's traumatic in itself. If you want evidence of that, look at the histories of child soldiers and child workers, and they stop being children almost immediately. Their mind does desperate things to normalise what's happening to them, to make it survivable. It cuts away everything extraneous. Everything. And the child abuser has murdered who that child was. The child isn't just harmed, they're murdered. And John Grisham, by what you said the other day, and you're apologising for child porn consumers. I don't care, he was your friend. I don't give a fuck if he was a member of your fucking family. You have added to the suffering of child abuse survivors, and you have added to the appetite for child porn. Because of what you said, someone somewhere is going to go looking for child porn that they wouldn't have otherwise, just to see how easy it is. And they're not going to report it to the police. And that's going to add to the appetite. And another child is going to be harmed. And another, and another, and another. So, yes, I am laying some of the responsibility for any child porn that happens from now until the end of time at the feet of apologists. All apologists. John Grisham, you've made yourself part of the problem. Your apology doesn't change a damn thing. You want to make a fucking difference. You want to really apologise. Give half of your fortune give half your fucking fortune to the Noble Foundation. An organisation here in Dublin that run by a Dublin woman who, by the way, has a biopic out right now. You should see it. But she goes to Vietnam, she goes to Mongolia, she goes to places to save children from child pornographers, child abusers, child rapists, pimps. You want to make up for it? Give 3/4 of your fucking fortune to organisations like that. You might start to make up for the damage you've done. Maybe. Okay, I'm stopping now. I need to go somewhere and cry for a while. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.